Brothers and sisters, to increase your Iman, read the miracle, recite the Qur'an. Recite it every day and do read it loud. The verses of Qur'an are all Muslims' pride. This miracle was revealed over a long time span, sent from Allah to an angel, then to a man. That man was Muhammad, the best of creation.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والعاقبة للمتقين، ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأولين والآخرين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, dear viewers everywhere, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to a new episode of Correct Your Recitation. In the beginning, I would like also to welcome our guests here in the studio, Sheikh Ismail. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and our new audience, Brother Akram, Ma'mar, and Khalid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we'll begin by listening to a beautiful recitation of the remaining part of Surat An-Nabaa from verse number 31st to the end. Then we'll begin Surat An-Nazi'at, the following chapter, all the way until verse number 26. So let's listen carefully to the recitation by Sheikh Ismail. Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والنازعات غرقا والناشطات نشطا والسابحات سبحا فالسابقات سبقا فالمدبرات أمرا يوم ترجف الراجفة تتبعها الرادفة قلوب يومئذ واجفة أبصارها خاشعة يقولون أئنا لمردودون في الحافرة أئذا كنا عظاما نخرة قالوا تلك إذا كرة خاسرة فإنما هي زجرة واحدة فإذا هم بالساهرة هل أتاك حديث موسى إذ ناداه ربه بالوادي المقدس طوى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقل هل لك إلى أن تزكى وأهديك إلى ربك فتخشى فأراه الآية الكبرى فكذب وعصى ثم أدبر يسعى فحشر فنادى فقال أنا ربكم الأعلى فأخذه الله نكال الآخرة والأولى إن في ذلك لعبرة لمن يخشى.
Jazakallahu khairan. Barakallahu feek. Brothers and sisters, inshallah we will begin by learning a few vocabulary that we'll be studying in order to be able to understand perfectly the meaning of the last part of Surat An-Nabaa. In the first verse, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in verse number 31st, إِنَّ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ مَفَازًا, the word mafazan is derived from al-fawz. Al-fawz means success. The past tense is faza, succeeded. Fawzan, mafazan, and mafazatan, when somebody achieved his goal, when somebody accomplished whatever he was requested to do, and he's awaiting the reward. When somebody receives salvation on the Day of Judgment, that is called al-fawz. Al-fawz al-azim means the great success. The word kawa'iba is describing al-hurul ain, the maidens, the mature women, or the women whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared as a mean of enjoyment and delight as a reward for the believers who abstain themselves from having any illicit relationship in this life. So, kawa'iba atraba is describing the nature of those mature women. The word dihaqan, when we say وَكَأْسًا dihaqa, is describing the cup or the glass, which will be full and constantly full. Dihaqan means it is full all the way to the end. The word lagwan has been mentioned repeatedly in the Qur'an, and it is referring to the vain talk. Lagha, lagwan, and yalghu is a present tense. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surat Al-Mu'minun, describing the believers and their traits, the successful believers, when He said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, He said, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, and those who abstain from indulging into any vain talk, whether it's a lie or any unnecessary talk or any conversation pertaining others with mockery or backbiting, etc. Ata'an means a gift concerning the reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for al-muttaqeen, whom He mentioned in verse number 31st. So ata'an is a gift, and we will learn why such reward was given as a gift, not just mere compensation. Khitaban, al-khitab means a speech or talk. Sawaban means right or correct. Asaba means the person spoke rightly or hit the target or he achieved it properly. As-sawab means correctness. And after that, inshallah, now we're ready to speak in details about the meaning of the last few verses of Surat An-Nabaa, or the great news. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ مَفَازًا, verily for al-muttaqeen, and we spoke about that definition before repeatedly, those who kept their duties to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fulfilled them properly, those who abstain from whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited, those who competed in this life in order to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to keep themselves away from His anger, from His punishment, from the fire of hell. For such people, al-muttaqeen, those who achieved righteousness and piety, mafazan, they will succeed, they will be saved on the Day of Judgment. Allah the Almighty said في Surat Al-Imran, فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. He is describing the true success as it is for those who will be saved and receive salvation on the Day of Judgment. They will be saved from the fire of hell. They will be removed away from it, and they will make it to heaven. This is the ultimate success. فَقَدْ فَازَ. And any success in this life is nothing but illusion. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. Simply because it is transient and it has an end and a limit. But the success in the hereafter is eternal and is everlasting. Those who will enter heaven will last there eternally. So what kind of success and what kind of reward and delight will al-muttaqin experience on the Day of Judgment? حَدَائِقَ وَأَعْنَابًا. Hadaiq is plural of حديقة, which means gardens and vineyards. وَكَوَاعِبَ التَّرَابَ. In those gardens, heavens, which the pious people will be enjoying, as well Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them wives such as mature women, as we described before, of the same age. We said before that they would have the same similar age, which is 33. That is the best age for women. As a result, and as a reward, and as a gift for abstaining from what Allah prohibited in this life, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded them, in addition to having their own wives who were righteous as well in this life, they would have also al-hur al-ain. And for the ladies who say that, but there is no comparison between the purified women whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for the believers in heaven and the human beings, the women of the human beings. We assure them that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that such women, the pious and righteous wives who will make it to heaven and who will be married to their husbands in heaven as well, would be more beautiful than any of al-hur al-ain. She will be the queen in her own kingdom. لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا. One of the most important qualities of heaven, that you hear no disturbance, no vain talk, no lies, no any conversation which might disturb you. You would not hear any of that at all. That is the meaning of the word lagw, which means vain talk, and كذابا means lying. They only hear salaman, salaman, peaceful words, peaceful conversation. All of that is jaza'an. The word jaza'an means a reward or a compensation. مِن رَبِّكَ. But this jaza is ata'an. So it is not simply because of what you did. No, Allah the Almighty assisted you and gave you success in order to accomplish the good righteous deeds. And furthermore, He rewarded you for that. So this reward which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared for the righteous ones is a gift rather from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is رَبِّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا الرَّحْمَنِ. This Lord who gave a gift on the Day of Judgment, this reward, this magnificent reward, al-jannat, wal-hadaiq, al-a'nab, etc. He is the Lord of the heavens and the earth and what's in between. He is the most gracious, Ar-Rahman. لا يملكون منه خطابا means that on the Day of Judgment, no one would dare to utter a word or speak of anything except by his leave or by his permission. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that nobody will dare to speak on the Day of Judgment except the prophets. Not only that, we understand in the lengthy hadith of intercession that when mankind would rush towards Adam alayhi salam to beg him to intercede for them before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would disassociate himself from them and say that, I have committed some sins, I have disobeyed Allah, eaten from the tree, and I am worried about my sins. Similarly, Prophet Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, indicating that Allah did not allow anyone to utter a word, to speak or to intercede with Him, but by His leave. And this is the meaning of this passage of Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayatul Kursi, مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَشْفَعُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. Who is that He who can intercede with Him without His leave? Eventually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will redirect whole humanity and mankind to the last messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Everybody would ask Muhammad, you are the last messenger, you are the dearest and the most beloved to Allah. Would you please intercede with us before Allah? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would allow him by letting him prostrate himself for so long and inspiring him with the beautiful words of praise. So afterward, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask him, Ya Muhammad, ارفع رأسك واشفع تشفع. Raise your head and intercede. We shall grant you an answer to your intercession and accept your intercession. Indicating that no one would dare to speak nor intercede with him but without his leave. So eventually Allah will give this honor to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then another beautiful glimpse of what's going to happen on the Day of Judgment. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الرُّوحُ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ صَفًّا. Ar-Ruh is Jibreel alayhi salam. And we said before that when we spoke about the nature of Jibreel alayhi salam, that he had 600 wings. that one wing would be enough to block the light of the sun and block the horizon completely. So Angel Gabriel, peace be upon him, the humongous creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the boss of all the angels, would line up along with the rest of the angels in rows, out of respect and fear. لا يتكلمون. Not even the angels would dare to speak a word or utter a word. إِلَّا مَنْ أَذِنَ لَهُ الرَّحْمَنِ, except for those whom Allah would allow to speak. وَقَالَ صَوَابًا, and those who will speak, what will they say? They will say the true statement, which is لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. There is no God worthy of worship but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Those who could not say it, nor did they say it in this life, nor did they believe in it, will not be able to say it on the day of judgment. This is your passport to heaven. This is your password to success and to salvation on the day of judgment. ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. The day of judgment is indeed the true day. There is no doubt that that's going to happen, and it is approaching, and it is getting very, very near. فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. Let those who would like and those who will take a way of salvation, take a way of rescue with their Lord or to their Lord by obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this life, Allah is giving us reminders after reminders, warnings after warnings, that this life is short and brief and transient. Then, after that, there will be a day of judgment. And this day of judgment is ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. That is the ultimate truth. It is as true as death. By the way, believers and disbelievers and atheists, everybody admits to the fact of death, because we see it every moment. So no one can deny death. Similarly, as death is a reality, resurrection is a reality, and the day of judgment and the day of accountability as real as death. ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. So if this is the case, let everyone prepare something in order to save himself or herself on the day of judgment. في Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Seek you all provision. Provision for what? For the long journey. That is the journey of the hereafter. So what kind of provision do we need? Do we need to accumulate food and money and possessions? No. The best provision that you can accompany with you for the long journey is righteousness. And that's why Allah began verse number 31 by saying, إِنَّ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ مَفَازًا. Verily, for the righteous ones, the pious ones, those who feared Allah and kept their duties to Him in this life, and have acquired enough provision to assist them to be saved on the day of judgment, they will be the truly successful ones. إِنَّا أَنذَرْنَاكُمْ عَذَابًا قَرِيبًا. Allah the Almighty is confirming, verily, we have warned you of a near torment, because since the day of judgment, the day of accountability, is the ultimate truth, and every day passes by is driving us and approaching us closer to the day of judgment, then Allah is reminding us, this is a very near day, and the torment is true for the disbelievers and the disobedient. So fear Allah and keep your duty to Him. What will happen on that day, which is getting very near, and we're approaching it very fast? يَوْمَ يَنْظُرُ الْمَرْءُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ. On that day, the human being, every single living person, everyone who lived in this life, would look towards what? To the harvest of his actions, of his deeds, sayings and actions. مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ. What his hand have sent forth, what you've done in the past. وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ. And when everybody would look into his record, whether good or bad, right away the disbeliever and the disobedience would wish and would long only for one thing, which is that they were just dust and dirt. What does it mean? Basically, in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that justice, the ultimate justice, will be applied on the day of judgment. وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا وَمَا رَبُّكَ بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَظْلِمُ النَّاسَ شَيْئًا وَلَكِنَّ النَّاسَ أَنفُسَهُمْ يَظْلِمُونَ. On the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most just, will treat everybody fairly with His just. Those who have done good deeds will be saved by Allah's mercy, and those who disbelieved and the wicked ones, and those who disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be punished accordingly. So, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala resurrects everybody, along with those will be resurrected animals. But animals were not given the taklif, the responsibility of doing certain acts of worship like humans. Were not given this choice whether to worship or not to worship. So in the hadith, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, but because justice will be applied perfectly on the Day of Judgment, there will be, for example, one ram which have horns, which had horns in this life, and one which did not have any. So the one with horns on the Day of Judgment transgressed against the innocent and the weak one without horns, and hit it with the horns. So on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take the horns from the aggressive ram, and will give them to the one who was oppressed, and will enable the one who was oppressed in this life to take revenge from the oppressor ram who oppressed him on the Day of Judgment. Then after this will take place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order them to die, then they will turn into dust. So basically for them, this is what it means on the Day of Judgment, accountability. There is no heaven nor far of hell. So when the sinners, when the criminals, when the disbelievers on the Day of Judgment will observe what's happening to the sheep, to the animals, that it's a very simple recompense, very simple punishment for the transgressors, they would all wish and long at the same time that, Ya laytani kuntu turaba, I wish that I was just an animal, then my accounting will be very easy, then I will die and turn into dust. But this is not the case. Why? Because none of the living creatures other than humans and the jinn have been given this quality, which is the choice whether to worship or not to worship, to believe or to disbelieve. إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ عَلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَالْجِبَالِ فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. So every living creature refused to be given this freedom of choice, fearing that situation and that moment on the Day of Judgment. But al-insan, mankind accepted it, and he will be held responsible for what he or she have committed in this life. If good, they will be rewarded. If otherwise, then no one should blame but himself. By that, brothers and sisters, we came to the end of explaining the last verse of Surat An-Nabaa, or عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. And I hope and I pray that my beloved viewers have managed to memorize Surat or Surat An-Nabaa, because inshallah beginning next time we'll begin with the following surah, Surat An-Nazi'at. After the short break, inshallah, we'll begin revising quickly some of the ahkam and practicing together. So please stay tuned. We'll be back, inshallah, shortly. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Recite it every day and do read it loud.
Many people trying to get together, but all their efforts were in vain because of ignoring or turning away from this great foundation. We see many people coming to the way of truth, following the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but later on, they get off track. What is the reason behind that? Unity is a result, it's not a cover-up. We have to be united from inside. And Allah made this clear in the Qur'an when He said, وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ.
The Muslims in particular will have very good knowledge of Islamic religion and Islamic law, and then will run their lives according to the injunctions of Allah. It will enable them to know how to live peacefully with them, and at the same time practice Islamic religion or follow the injunctions of Allah as requested and required by Allah.
anyone who chooses other than Islam as a religion, as a way, it won't be accepted from him. This Qur'an has to be understood by the way the companions of Rasulullah understood the Qur'an. We disconnect ourselves from the actions of certain Muslims who oppress people and kill people unjustly.
Recite it every day and do read it loud.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Before we resume concerning the two similar letters and so on in the ahkam of the tajweed, I think we have one sister on the line. Sister Shara, assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Wa alaikum assalam, Shaykh.
Okay, would you please recite from verse number 31st of Surat An-Nabaa?
Okay.
إن للمتقين
أعوذ
مفازا.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وعنابا وكواعب ترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا.
This verse again, please, Sister Shara. Assalamu alaikum. Can you repeat verse number 37 again? رب السماوات
رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا.
Look again at the word لا يملكون. There is a kasra beneath the lam. It is not a dhamma. So it is لا يملكون.
لا يملكون منه خطابا.
Continue.
يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا.
For just one moment, look at the word فمن شاء. There is a ghunna because there is ikhfa. The noon, which is a non-vowel noon here, in the word faman, non-vowel, is followed by the sheen. So this is ikhfa. So we're supposed to apply the ghunna and its rules. So we say faman sha'a attakhadha. Okay? Can you repeat it, please?
فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا. Right?
Right. Continue.
إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا.
And now as well, because the word inna, there is a shadda over the noon, so there is a ghunna, two harakas as well. So again, inna anzarnakum.
إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا.
Okay. Jazakallahu khairan. I'm going to comment quickly on the last verse, verse number 4, if you stay with me on the line. There is a shadda and fatha on top of the noon, so there is a ghunna, two harakas. Every noon and meme that may have shadda, then immediately there is a ghunna, two harakas. Then أنذرناكم, there is another إخفاء. Non-vowel noon is followed by the letter ذا. عذابا قريبا, that's another إخفاء because there is a tanween followed by the letter قاف. قريبا يوم, there is idgham with the غنة, so the غنة is equally observed in the previous أحكام. two harakas. يوم ينظر, another غنة because the noon, the non-vowel noon in the word ينظر is followed by the letter ظا, that's إخفاء. ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت, that's another إخفاء, non-vowel noon followed by the letter تا. جزاك الله خيرا. And for whoever would begin reciting afterward, remember concerning al-mad al-munfasil, in the case of the separate mad, permissible separate mad, we apply the mad 4 harakas. So we'll say إِنَّا أَنذَرْنَاكُمْ عَذَابًا قَرِيبًا. جزاكم الله خيرا. Okay. I would like to have a quick recap over this very important rule which we studied before, or tackle some of its ahkam concerning what if two letters follow each other. One of them is identical of the previous one, or one of them is similar to the previous one. Similar in the meaning that it may have the same articulation point, same characteristic or so. So that's called al-mutamathilan, wal-mutajanisan, wal-mutaqariban, wal-mutabaidan. Or the two alike, the two similar, the two close, and the two far away from each other. Basically, our concern is focused on the first two categories, which is the two identical letters and the two similar letters, because we will not worry much about the two close, al-mutaqariban, nor the two far away. Far away meaning that a letter that has an articulation point that is totally far away from the following letter. So this is not our subject. And with regards to al-mutaqariban, which two letters may have close articulation points, but they are not similar, they are not the same, they do not share even some of the characteristics. According to our dialect, which is Hafs, it will not concern us much. So we will focus only on the first two. Al-mutamathilan, which means whenever we have a letter followed by the same letter that's repeated in the same word, such as when we say rabihat, then the next word is tijaratuhum. So rabihat ended with the letter ta, and the next word began with the letter ta. So we have two letters succeeding each other are identical. That's why we call it identical. The two alike, and obviously they must possess the same articulation point and the same characteristics. Similar to that is whenever the two letters are not necessarily alike but similar. They share the same articulation point but not necessarily the characteristics. Such as when we have the word قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ. Obviously I'm not reading that properly now because I'm only explaining that I have two letters. قَدْ, قَاف and dal. Then the next word is تَبَيَّنَ. The dal and the ta almost having the same articulation point but not the same characteristics. So that's why they will share the ahkam, and the first, which is the mutamathilan, and the second, which is al-mutajanisan, in case that the first letter of all of them is a non-vowel and the second is vowel, then we will apply a complete merging. So we will not pronounce them as قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ or رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتْهُمْ. That will be a mistake. Rather we'll say رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. So let's look at the slides. The two alike, the mutamathilan, the two similar, the mutajanisan, the two close, al-mutaqariban, and the two far away from each other, two letters who do not share the articulation points, rather each one of them is far away. The first example is the two words, رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ. Even though, Akram, we have two tas, but we're going to pronounce them as one. When merging the first non-vowel ta into the second vowel, and obviously we'll pronounce only one with shadda. So we will say رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ. Can you repeat it, please?
رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ.
Okay, Ma'mar?
رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ.
Khalid?
رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ.
And put a little heaviness on the ra because it's with the fatha. Ra. رَبِحَتْ.
رَبِحَتْ
Not ra. Ra.
ربحت تجارتهم.
Very well. وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ.
وليكتب بينكم.
Excellent.
وليكتب بينكم.
Okay.
وليكتب بينكم.
Very good. Then, in the next set of examples, we have the two similars. We have قد تبين. The dal followed by the ta. Yes, they have the same articulation point, but they are not identical. But since the first one is a non-vowel letter, and the second is a vowel letter, that's called صغير, and they will be merged. The first will be merged in the second. Similarly, همت طائفتان. So he will not say همت طائفتان, rather will say همت طائفتان. Okay? Merge the first in the second. So let's practice the two examples. قد تبين.
قد تبين.
Excellent.
قد تبين.
So we do not pronounce the dal at all, nor the ta in the next example. Rather, we'll pronounce the following letter. قد تبين. قد تبين.
قد تبين.
And some heaviness on the letter قاف because it is a مفخم letter.
قد
قاف.
تبين.
Very good. همت طائفتان.
همت طائفتان.
Very good.
همت طائفتان.
Remember, the ta is a heavy letter, is not a soft letter such as the ta. They share the articulation point, but not the characteristics. So when we merge the first and the second, we will only pronounce the second with the characteristics of the second. همت طائفتان. Again.
همت طائفتان.
Khalid.
همت طائفتان.
Very good. Okay, we have Sister Hafsa from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go ahead, sister, and begin with the Surat An-Nazi'at. Recite from the beginning of Surat An-Nazi'at.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والنازعات غرقا والناشطات نشطا والسابحات سبحا والسابقات سبقا.
Sister Hafsa, would you please lower the volume on your TV set? Sister Hafsa, can you hear me? Lower the volume on your TV set. Just hear me from the microphone,
Okay.
from your phone. Thank you.
Okay.
And now, every time you have the letter ba, such as in the word وَالسَّابِحَاتِ سَبَحًا, because the letter ba is one of the qalqala letters. Once it is sakin letter, it has the sukoon, then you apply the qalqala and you shake it. So you say وَالسَّابِحَاتِ سَبَحًا سَبَحًا. Okay?
Okay. والسابحات سبحا.
Very good.
والسابقات سبقا والمدبرات أمرا يوم ترجف الراجفة تتبعها الرادفة قلوب يومئذ واجفة.
Okay, Sister Hafsa.
أبصارها
Hafsa.
خاشعة.
Okay, for one moment, you all know that Hafsa is also the name of one of the Prophet's wives, Umar's daughters. May Allah be pleased with her. She is our mother as well, the mother of all the believers. Every time you see the letter Ra in the Qur'an that has the vowel Fatha, the opening, or Pesh, the Dhamma, then you must pronounce it Mufakham, meaning fat. You do not say فَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ. That's not the dialect of Hafs. So we'll say فَالْمُدَبِّرَا را فَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ أَمْرًا أَمْرًا يَوْمَ تَرْجُفُ الرَّاجِفَةِ. Not الراء. را تَتْبَعُهَا الرَّادِفَةِ. Okay? If you may repeat again from verse number 5, I would really appreciate it.
Okay. فالمدبرات أمرا.
Very good.
يوم ترجف الراجفة تتبعها الرادفة قلوب يومئذ واجفة أبصارها خاشعة.
Okay, one more thing, Sister Hafsa, because this is very important. When we recite those words which end up with the ta, we have to be very precise. Because sometimes you may prolong it and it would sound like if it is an alif. واجفة. Rather, I will say, تتبعها الرادفة قلوب يومئذ واجفة. You gotta pronounce the ha. Initially, that's called ta marbuta. It's a ta, but it is written as a circle. So when you connect it, you pronounce it as ta in a continuous recitation. When you start at it, it is pronounced as ha. So you must do some verification to the letter and really pronounce it as ha. We say, يَوْمَ تَرْجُفُ الرَّاجِفَةِ. Now I understand it's a ha. تَتْبَعُهَا الرَّادِفَةِ قُلُوبٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ وَاجِفَةٌ. جزاكم الله خيرا. I think we lost the sister. Are you still there? Okay. Sister Khairiyya, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Would you please resume from verse number 8?
Actually, yeah, there is a sort of misunderstanding. I'm not going to recite some ayahs or so,
okay.
But I just want to ask you a simple question.
Sure.
To make a research in English, according to the American Psychological Association, we are expected to transcribe the verses, the ayahs, I mean, in the Arabic. Any text in Arabic should be transcribed in English. Concerning the ayahs, are we supposed to transcribe it with vocalization? First of all, what is the idgham, the qalqala? Are they called vocalization, or what's the term used to describe them in English?
Okay. Very good. Basically, you need to download all the previous episodes. Like, I've been talking about idgham. It took us several months. Ikhfa likewise. So in order to be able to use those terms, you have to understand what is the concept behind it. There is no specific shortcut translation or explanation in one word or translation. Rather, I would say idgham is merging, but merging what in what? Merging two letters, the first and the second. Why or based on what? So the word itself would require a whole explanation of a class. That's why I will refer you to all the previous episodes, maybe 2 years back, we've been talking about those terms. For each term, as I just did right now when I was talking about al-mutamasilan or al-mutajanisan. As I said in English simply, the two alike, the two similars. But what we're talking about here. I may give a short indication or a term, but it would not mean anything unless if you have some scientific background concerning those definitions. There are some beautiful books also if you are an Arabic speaker or if you are an English speaker by Dr. Karima. Beautiful books have the definition of those terms, which will not be able to give you a complete picture of the meaning unless if you have a tutor who would walk you through, make you understand how to apply those terms. Okay? And if you still need any further explanation, please email me at tajweed@huda.tv. I may be able to benefit you with some further information. Jazakumullahu khairan. Okay. Akram, are you ready?
Yes,
okay. Let's begin with Surat An-Nabaa, verse number 1. Please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والنازعات غرقا والناشطات نشطا والسابحات سبحا فالسابقات سبقا فالمدبرات أمرا يوم ترجف الراجفة.
There is a sukun over the meme, right?
Yes.
So we'll not be able to move it because it has a sukun. A sukun means that it is not voweled. So I cannot say amara. Rather I should say فَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ أَمْرًا.
فَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ أَمْرًا.
Excellent.
يوم ترجف الراجفة تتبعها الرادفة قلوب يومئذ واجفة أبصارها خاشعة يقولون أئنا لمردودون في الحافرة.
Jazakallahu khairan. We'll take a little pause. We have Sister Maryam from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Maryam. Are you there?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Would you like to recite today? If you are going to recite, please begin with verse number 11 of Surat An-Nazi'at.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أإذا كنا عظاما نخرة قالوا تلك إذا كرة خاسرة فإنما هي زجرة واحدة.
Can you please read verse number 13 again? Can you repeat verse number 13 again?
Okay. فإنما هي زجرة واحدة.
Okay. Remember, you just said فإنما هي, so there is a letter ha. And then when you came to the last word, you said واحدة. So there is another ha? No, it is rather a letter ha. Even though all those letters, the ha and the ha, they come from the throat, their articulation point is the throat, but there is a middle, there is the farthest, there is the nearest, right? So the ha has to be distinguished from the ha. So you should say واحدة. And in order to be able to recite the ha properly, you got to say ah versus ah. So you say واحدة. Huh? Little sharper. You're getting very close. Okay. واحدة. Excellent. Now you got it. Okay. Continue, please.
فإذا هم بالساهرة. هل أتاك حديث موسى إذ ناداه ربه بالوادي المقدس طوى.
نعم.
اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى.
Okay, a couple of things here, sister. First of all, the letter the in the word اذهب, it is a sakina. It doesn't have neither fatha nor dhamma nor kasra. So you're not supposed to shake it nor move it. Rather, it is اذهب. اذهب. And obviously you will stick the tip of your tongue out because this is a letter dhal. So say اذهب إلى فرعون. And the ra is the softest. It is the lightest. It is the thinnest. Why? Because it is ra, that is sakina, but it is preceded by a letter that has the vowel kasra or zair. So you will say فرعون. فرعون. It's a very common mistake to say فرعون. That's wrong. Okay. I would like for you to repeat this verse again because we have some other callers waiting on the line. We're approaching the end of the program. Please, verse number 17 again. Jazakumullahu khairan. I would like to host you once again. In the last couple of minutes, I would like to take Sister Habiba from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Go ahead, please.
Sheikh, my brother, I just want to ask you to pray for me. I love the Quran more than my life, but I'm still struggling. I'm not anywhere like you all. Just pray for me that I and my children become very good reciters. I'm trying to learn this Quran. All my life I'm struggling. Pray for me, please. And I want your cassettes so that I can sit in peace. I don't have sufficient time to watch the program, but I want to sit in peace and watch and recite the tajweed nicely.
Okay.
If anyway I can get the CD or cassette or something.
Okay. I would like to share with you the good news because I know that there are millions out there. I have met many from Europe and the States as well, and in my tours, they would love to recite the Qur'an, and somebody is willing to trade his life for just the beautiful recitation of the Qur'an. This is something I wanted to share with those who were born in Islam and they enjoyed the privilege of being Arabic speakers, and they don't really appreciate the God-given, the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them. So I say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands that from you, and He knows the sincerity of your intention. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Usduq illaha yasduq." If you're true in your intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely deliver. وَإِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. You can definitely be better than me, myself, and many reciters by spending some time, by exerting some effort in order to learn, especially if you have some private tutors in Emirates. They will walk you through and you will be inshallah among the best reciters. As long as you are trying, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَالَّذِي يَقْرَأُ الْقُرْآنَ وَيَتَتَعْتَعُ فِيهِ وَهُوَ عَلَيْهِ شَاقٌ فَلَهُ أَجْران. Can you imagine one who is struggling to learn the Qur'an, find difficulty like yourself? The Prophet ﷺ said, shall receive double the reward of one who is reciting fluently. So do not be sad, rather rejoice because you're trying. And with regards to the cassette, inshallah, if you go ahead and email the channel, they'll be happy to assist you in this regard. Unfortunately, brothers and sisters, time is running by very fast and it's slipping off. So we'll have to end up this episode by asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this deed from all of us and pardon us and forgive us our sins. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. And until next episode, I leave you in peace. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brothers and sisters, to increase your iman, read the miracle, recite the Qur'an. Recite it every day and do read it loud. The verses of Qur'an are all Muslims' pride. This miracle was revealed over a long time span, sent from Allah to an angel, then to a man. That man was Muhammad, the best of creation. We were chosen to be part of his nation. He gave us a message, and that was Islam. So read this miracle, recite the Qur'an.